In this session, how to calm the mind, we have another puzzle piece. And this puzzle piece will be the subject gemstones and metals. So we're dividing this subject into the 5 elements. The body consists of 5 elements. We can say 4 elements, but the 5th one is like the spirit what is moving through the body, or what they say is the ether. So we take the earth, the water, the wind and fire. So in the same, the metals are divided. For example, with metals I mean rings or bracelet, or even a piercing. So where we are placing the metals and which metals have again an immediate effect on our whole system, what we think, what we feel. So, for example, we take a silver ring. A silver ring is basically related to the subject more water and ether. So now we can say water and wind maybe to be a better understanding, but it's much more water. So water have a cooling effect on the body. So if I putting a ring on this or this or this finger, it have a cooling effect on this kind of energy line. An example, I putting the silver ring on my index finger, and the index finger is generally related to the meridian or energy line or the organ colon. So in this matter then the silver ring will create a cooling and water effect to the colon through the index finger. So the same all the other metals like copper. Copper is more related to wind, and the second part is the water. But if it have too a relation to the other organs. But again, we take the ring and put it on the index finger, and it will then create this metal. Copper will affect the colon with more the wind mainly, and the secondary water, like a cooling effect. So by taking a gold ring, for example, gold is related to the heat in the body, to fire, and the secondary is the wind. So it's again, when we're taking this index finger, it will create in the colon more like a fiery, and a secondary a wind through the body. So we see that the elements and the metals are very strong connected. So it's the same when we put just like our feet, we putting on a copper plate, and not plate, more like a copper plateau, and immediately the parts below the feet, I mean this kind of all the skin what's getting in contact, will immediately have an effect by contact to the copper. So when we take steel have more earthly, earth and fire elements. And it's again where I place it, on which finger or which body part, have immediate effect on that. We have very strong to consider this when we are using metals on our body. what can be balancing, but if it is wrongly placed, it can be disturbed. So if we are doing this, and just maybe by trying out, how do I think, how do I feel when I putting this ring there or there or there, and just again it's in the process of close your eyes, and even maybe do I get very pleasant thoughts, or do I get after a while aggressive thoughts? So the subject metals and how we place it. There are more metals what they are using in the ancient times too for healing. There is, like, for example, the 3 metal ring or bracelet. But what is very important is that there is a balance. It is not just I putting now this ring on and then it's good, or it is maybe even worse. So the main thing is the balance in yourself. And if you are balancing it right, the mind is getting more quiet. It's getting more calm. So in the same is it with the gemstones. All the gemstones what we know is, for example, the ruby. The ruby is related to the fire element primarily, and the secondary is the wind element. So if I putting this ruby at my chest, like attached with a string, then this have immediately an effect from the heart center. It will be more creating a warm and circulation of the body system. If I putting maybe a moonstone, the moon is more related to cooling, to watery, and secondary it's more related to the wind. At the heart center, it will more calm the circulation, it will cool down. But again, if I putting this on a different part of the body, it have a different effect. So this is very strongly to consider and when to deal with gemstones. So the same with the gemstones, they are all related to all the elements, and by putting the gemstones on, the main thing what is important is again the balance. How do I think? How do I feel? You can even take one gemstone in your right hand and just hold it there and be aware. Learn again, how do my hand react? How do I hold it? How and what? It's better to make it with closed eyes, because then the attention is going more into you. So there, even by putting, for example, the earrings, can be too the effect be by some people immediately, by some people after a while. So that are the subject of gemstones and metals. It's just a basic understanding that we know what we are doing when we are dealing with these things. Again, it can be highly beneficial by correcting and holding this or carrying it in a right way, because they are basically made for us in difficult times, or even good times is good too. Our next puzzle piece: gemstones and metals.